Aloha kako, my name is Precious. I am from the island of Oahu in the state of Hawaii, and here's my story. So I grew up in a household of 12 children, or a spectrum of children. My parents were foster care parents for about a span of almost 20 years. They adopted 8 and they had 4 biologically. In my household, it was a little chaotic considering my parents were also older when they chose to adopt all of these children. And according to a lot of the paperwork they gave, my family story is that I was abandoned at about 6 months or so, and I was hospitalized for probably 2 months outside of that because of malnutrition, things like that. And what happened is because my parents were in the foster care system in the state of Hawaii, they had a social worker called and asked, "Hey, I have a baby. If she makes it, will you take her?" And they agreed to, and so here we are. I think the beautiful thing, it wasn't perfect, obviously, but it was something magnificent, fun. I'm so grateful for my parents, but I will say that growing up with a lot of other children who have faced a lot, as well as growing up in the setting of the foster care system. A lot of kids who came into our foster care, they adopted the 8. There were multiple other children in and out of our home. And a lot of the kids have suffered I saw a lot of hard things, as well as, of course, for example, some kids, their other foster parents had made them shower outside with water hose and things like that. And I saw how it really affected them in our homes. Most children I encountered who were either my age or younger or even older, they struggled with speaking, with talking, not just because they feared other people in that way. So that was a bit of a challenge growing up in the foster care system and seeing that in other children's lives. But how it impacted me personally is that I always struggled with this idea of what if I wasn't wanted, and what would life be like if I had stayed with the people who were supposed to want me. So about 2.5 years ago, I had looked into my original birth certificate, and I received it in the mail. But when you receive it, at least in the state of Hawaii, there's a big seal on it that says not valid for any kind of government paperwork. So that's a birth certificate, any legal documents, I can't use it. But it says originally my birth parents, and as well as, of course, my nationalities or ethnicities is the word. And it's crazy because when I got this paper, I guess all my life I love my parents, my adopted parents. I've loved them as my own. But I think in this moment, I've been waiting all my life to kind of figure out something so deep in me of who I am, right? I was thinking this paper was going to tell me that. And when I got it, God really spoke to me that it's really cool how he drew the comparison, because I pulled out my actual birth certificate that is valid for government paperwork, and I compared the two, and God really spoke to me that this is what he brought me out of, and this is what he does. It's the whole reclaiming of who you actually are. And this paper that says not viable for government documentation, it's not that it's not real, it's just understanding that this is a part of my story, but it doesn't define who I am. And it's funny because my actual birth certificate that gets me access to legal documents and paperwork, he showed me that obviously this is who I am. And it's just knowing that this is a part of my journey, my story, and what he does, and claiming it's also a way that he described to me how he makes us sons and daughters of him, right? It's like we were once children of the world, and he called us into his marvelous light. And with that, we get all this access to what that is. For example, I have my parents' name, their first and their last name, and what that gets me access to them as people, but also to the community I serve, to the family I have. And it's eye-opening. And if I could tell an adoptee one thing, I would tell them specifically that you are chosen, you are loved, and that these things that you wonder about, they're good to wonder, but they don't define you. They don't define your future either. So I just want to say that God has a plan for your life and that you get to define what that is and moving forward. So that's